Cave exploring gone wrong, the Mossdale Caverns disaster. In today's video, we'll talk about one of the biggest catastrophes in the 50 years of history of British caving. But what has happened that it is still remembered this way? And the better question to be asked is what really happened. We'll uncover it all in today's video. Hey everyone, welcome back to Dark Chronicles, in the most favorite channel of yours, where we share with you spine-chilling, nail-biting, dark, creepy, and scary real-life incidents across the globe. But before we proceed to our topics, subscribe to our channel and keep following us by clicking the bell icon. That being said, let's jump right in. On the 24th of June 1967, a fine Saturday morning, people observed 6 young men getting ready with all the excitement to venture into one of the further reaches of a pothole, which was also well known as the toughest battle in the Yorkshire Dales in Carven. Despite it all, the confidence came from several years of experience as cavers and the knowledge of all the possible risks. Their trip down to Mossdale Caverns on Conistone Moor near Grassington started as soon as the weather turned favorable. Little did they know that it was just the calm before the storm. They greeted their loved ones for the last time with the surety of meeting again. After entering a few hours, they were trying to head over a distant end of the cave in a hope to find a new phase. They were having a good time, laughing and teasing each other. All the omens were immensely positive. Then things took a complete turn. One muttered in uncertainty, what's that rumbling? Not the stream going up?" They could feel the worst nightmare of a carver coming true faster than their breaths. Lying flat out in water was the last thing anyone wanted to face. The water completely surged and everyone could hear the water surging. All of their confidence and experience held zero in this situation, as none of them had faced anything even close to this ever before. And finally, in front of their eyes, Mossdale Caverns flooded completely. Being the best carvers that they were, none of them yet lost hope and were calm. The roof was just a few inches above their prostrate bodies. They made their only attempt of living by crawling as fast as they could, with a complete knowledge of not making it anywhere, as there was nowhere to go. The realization was there, but then came the acceptance that their beautiful day has turned dark, that their crazy adventure is their tomb too. None of them were even near the age to think of death. They were 19-year-old William Frakes of Eldwick, Colin Vickers, 23, of Kenley Mount, Moore Avenue, Bradford, David Adamson, 26, of York Road, Harworth, Geoffrey Boyroe, 24, of Swinton, John Ogden, 21, of Cuerden Street, Colin, and the youngest of all, 17-year-old Michael Ryan of Dean Close, Rhodesway, Bradford. Death doesn't hurt as much as the story does. The story that the dead leave behind. Colin Vickers left behind a 2-year-old daughter, Rachel Taylor. For her, tragedies didn't stop there. She met with a life-threatening accident the very next year itself and has been left disabled ever since. Her mother was not in a better state either. Knowing the story, she was left devastated and could nearly speak. I gradually got to know about it through contact with the Upper Wharfdale Fell Rescue Association, who have been very kind and supportive and have taken me up to the site on several occasions, said Rachel. It's about wanting to know what it's like to be in a cave. I'm taken into the pothole and I'm terrified, but then reassured by a voice I believe is my father saying, "Hello Rachel, it's me." Now the 52-year-old Rachel still believes that her dad has passed down his adventures side to her, as she has abseiled down Ribblehead Viaduct twice. The tragedy not only covered headlines then, but also got the attention of several commentators who have turned this into one of the most viewed documentaries covering all the details. Howard Driver, archivist, and UWFRA had more to add to this story through his compilation at the age of 22. He was also one of the members of the underground support team. He, along with his colleague Chris Baker, were also on the site of the rescue operation. They tell how clearly they are still able to recall the shock after seeing the amount of disaster that was created in the overflooded cave. They still had hopes of finding them. Chris said, "You always have to have optimism, to believe that you will still find the people trapped by waiting safely in a chamber." The cavers knew Mossdale extremely well. They knew the dangers. We must remember that they were caught out by freakish weather. It was not a team of 6 but 10 cavers who had entered Mossdale that day, but 4: Morag Forbes, Collett Lord, James Cunningham and John Shepherd were reluctant to go any further and keep it only till the rough chamber on a sightseeing trip. It was the only 6 who in blindness of passion decided to go deeper into the cave. As per then, 22-year-old Morag from Leeds went back twice to the cave entrance, tired of waiting for her colleagues at How Gill Nick. Finally, she was horrified to see the bottomless water covering the entrance. Fueled by terror, she immediately ran 3 miles to Yarnbury to raise the alarm. Stephen Butcher of Conistone, who first came near the scene, said, "I was 100 yards away and I could hear the sound of rushing water. When my friend got out, the water was up to his waist. It was just a sea of water." It was this sea of water which met the rescuers, led by UWFRA and joined by the Cave Rescue Organization, and eventually scores of other volunteers amounting to 300. The rescue operations went on for hours without any success. Almost 6 hours later, 5 bodies were found. The 6th body, which was of John Ogden, made rescuers wait for 14 more hours, and then was found in a small passage. It's not only the stories left behind that hurt the most, probably half-completed promises do. Morag Forbes was completely heartbroken, as she was engaged to David Adamson, the leader of the party, with a promise of a happy ever after. Their marriage was just 6 weeks apart. Even after making a risky and life-taking decision, they weren't criticized. People just accepted that their luck ran out due to the fast-changing weather of that area. 2 weeks later, the mourning continued. As on Friday, July the 7th, hundreds of potholers, family, and friends gathered at the tiny church of St. Mary's in Conistone for the memorial service to the ill-fated cavers. The church was packed and many people stood outside in the sunshine to where the service was relayed. Mossdale Scar had been known to be a crumbly limestone cliff high on desolate Conistone Moor. A river-like stream, Mossdale Beck, disappears as its foot into the cave. Bleak and rarely visited, some thought of it looks menacing even in the sun, but all of it had now changed. The bodies had been rescued from the site, but no one can take out the tragic remains of the day from the place. With all of the features that Mossdale was known to be, another major tagline added to it: to be a spot of the worst and the last day lived of the young, lively cavers. It's no denial that it is not simply a story of 6 brave and adventurous men willing to take risks. It's also a story of each and every person who got affected by it. A story of you and me who feel sympathy and sorrow for what had happened that day. No prayers, no tears, no wishes can turn back time. All we can do is give out soothing blessings to those who passed away, and to those who stayed to experience the lifelong pain and void that has been left behind. Comment down about the other possibilities of that day. What do you think of it? If the day went smoothly, would they be able to register their name far differently? If only the team had stopped out too, would Rachel have the best father in the world? Or would Morag have created her own dreamy world with her loving husband? If you could change anything to that day, what would it be? Before you lose yourself in the thoughts, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe with your bell notification so that you never miss out on such stories. We will see you in the next one. Until then, peace.